Hello ladies and gents, and welcome to No Drama Just Movies Rapid Reviews. So, I watched Hamnet recently, and I had some thoughts. Right off the bat, I went into this film daring it to make me cry, and it absolutely delivered. But I'll get to that. I thought it started a little bit slower than I had expected, and to be clear, I don't mean this in a bad way. I didn't know that it would start with William and Agnes meeting and falling in love. What usually happens in these films is that the death happens at the beginning, as the incident that kicks the story off. Now they have to see how they deal with that loss. Here, it took about an hour and 20 minutes before Hamnet dies. And we all knew it was coming, right? It's in the trailer. They did a good job, though, pretending it was going to be Judith instead, with her being initially stillborn and then becoming sick with a plague. It made me curious to see how they were going to turn this around. But this is where starting a little earlier actually works in favour of the film, because it gives the story time to set up the magical angle. Agnes is said to be the daughter of a witch. She heals with herbs, she believes in the importance of giving birth to her first child in the woods, and she can see herself dying with 2 children by her bed. All this then adds these ill omens when she is forced to give birth at home, and when it's revealed she's having twins. For anyone keeping score, that's 1 child too many. I really like the idea of the bond the twins share, with baby Hamnet's proximity reviving Judith, which foreshadows his later sacrifice to save her from the plague. I love that moment as well, because you have this 11-year-old child choosing to die despite his fears. As a fan of Shakespeare, and particularly Hamlet and Macbeth, I really like the references and use of these plays. The scene with the 3 witches, and then a lot of Hamlet towards the end. This is a film about different ways to grieve, and I love the look at both Agnes and William's process. Agnes blames herself, regrets that she couldn't keep her boy alive, and she chastises William for not being there, for not showing her version of grief. But then we get to the play. And we see Shakespeare's response to the death of his son. In the ghost of the father doomed to wander the earth in pain. In Hamlet himself, who feels the loss of his late father not on the outside like everyone else, but on the inside, deeper and longer than all the others. And finally, in Hamlet's death, the agony of the poison. I loved all of it. It shows how creative people put all these emotions in their work. Far from being indifferent or shut off against this grief, Shakespeare took it and amplified it until he made a whole theatre mourn for his son. I knew from the trailer that the scene where Agnes, along with everyone else in the audience, reaches out towards the dying prince would get me. I was prepared for it, but it still hit me so hard. It was beautifully shot, beautifully acted by Jessie, Buckley and Jupe as Hamlet. The initial confusion on his face turning into a connection with Agnes and the whole audience, which meant that this Hamlet didn't have to die alone. How it clearly soothed his agony. I don't think I'll ever be able to watch Hamlet the same way again. And I love works of art that influence how I see other works of art. There is a conversation between this film from 2025 and a play from around 1600. The acting was solid as well. Paul Mescal has a great moment with his onstage son, where his grief finally pours out. And the way he speaks Shakespeare, particularly Malcolm's speech from Macbeth, makes me want to see him do more of it. But this is definitely Jessie Buckley's film. Not just a scene at the end. The scream when Hamlet dies tore me apart. But I also loved the moment right after, that switch into silence, into being lost. Her son is dead. Now what is she supposed to do? Where does she go from here? Overall, this was a beautiful film with strong performances. A look at grief and how people process it differently, which is a subject I can definitely connect to. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. It made me cry. And I love and respect any film that can do that. And that's all. Roll credits.